Yes, students. Now we are going to start to study one of the important point in organic chemistry called coordination chemistry. Actually, coordination chemistry coordinated inorganic chemistry. Basically, out of the three sisters in the chemistry, physical, organic and inorganic was most neglected. Inorganic was Cinderella. But because of coordination chemistry, lot of developments in inorganic chemistry took place and inorganic chemistry became vital aspect of chemistry. And these things happened because of the work of Alfred Werner. From the days of Werner means from 1893, actually life in the inorganic chemistry came. Means hardly 130 years passed out. But whatever the service coordination chemistry did, not only for the inorganic chemistry, but to this world is fabulous, is marvelous. Understanding of this coordination compound started by famous Werner's theory. But before that, what was the situation? What people were understanding about these compounds that we are learning in this part. Historically, people were knowing these inorganic compounds. One important portion I tell to you, what are the blood in our bodies there possesses heme group, and that heme group is none other than coordination compound. Life on this earth is due to chlorophyll, and what is chlorophyll? A coordination compound. So slowly people came to know the importance of the coordination chemistry, but in good old days, how people realized the few compounds. Actually, compounds were known to them, but the chemistry behind them, the bonding behind them, formation of those compounds was difficult to explain. And because of the difficulty, name came to this compound, complex compounds, and still we follow that name, complexes. Actually, these complexes are none other than coordination compounds. So what are historical perspectives of these coordination compounds? An important portion of inorganic chemistry. In competitive exams also, questions on this topic, that's a coordination chemistry, certainly remains. Let you take JAM examination, GATE examination, NET examination or SET examination. Coordination chemistry must be there. We are going to study historical perspectives of these coordination compounds. Means from where people came to know those are the different kinds of compounds. People realized their importance, that we are studying in this part. Of course, from the good old days, in ancient cultures, Indian culture, Persian culture or Egyptian culture, such coordination compounds were known. One beautifully colored alizarin red is represented. Actually, this alizarin red forms compounds with calcium and aluminium. Which compounds? Coordination compounds to show various colors. And people have realized the importance of those colors. Means in good old days paintings which were used or for fabric coloration, these coordination compounds were used to the extensive level. But these are the coordination compounds that people were not knowing. Say here one example I had given, an inorganic compound. A beautifully blue colored inorganic compound accidentally was discovered by the end of 16th century. In 1597, Libavius recognized this blue colored compound due to reaction between lime water having ammonium chloride and brass. But why this compound was obtained? That people not realized. But such colored compounds are possible and those are fabulous. Chemistry is somewhat difficult. These are the complex studies that people were knowing. So those compounds are labeled as a complex compounds. See one more example, a Prussian blue. Now we know its formula, but at that time only people were knowing such interesting compound, blue color compound is possible. And see the examples I had given for painting purpose. This interesting blue colored, actually Prussian blue colored compound was used. See what is the formula? KFeFeCN6. It's a very ferrocyano complex. Of course, potassiums are there. The charges on iron, those we will learn later on. But time being, let you know such compounds in good old days people were knowing. In true sense, the scientific study, systematic study started from the days of Tassard by the end of 18th century. In 1798, Tassard reported various complexes of cobalt as a metal ion with ammonia. But exact chemistry, exact bonding was not known. But he said when we treat cobalt chloride solutions with ammonia, we get a various colored compounds. Separation also was done. Systematic study was started from those days. People have prepared various compounds of cobalt with ammonia. Then what kind of bonding may be there? What kind of linkage may be there? That was a great threat or the great problem. And that problem was resolved later on. But let you know which compounds are there. So far, four compounds I am representing out of many. One yellow colored compound. See the formula CONH6Cl3. But I separated that in two charges. One cation, it's a complex ion here I am representing, and outside whichever the Cl minus ions are there, those are three. One cation and 3 Cl minus. So we can say that electrolyte is of the proportion 1 is to 3. If we react this yellow color compound with silver nitrate, we will get large quantity of precipitate because of 3 number of free Cl minus ion. Second compound, in picture also it is represented beautifully purple colored compound. Its formula is COClNH3 5. Charge on that cation, charge on the complex ion is 2 plus. And how many chlorides are free? 2 chlorides are free. So what do you think? Relative to the previous compound, here precipitation for stipulated quantity will be more or less. Certainly it will be less because only 2 Cl minus ions are there outside which can react with silver nitrate. So less quantity of precipitate. I had not shown here the green colored complex, but you will understand. A new formula COCl2NH3 charge on that complex ion is plus and only one Cl minus is outside. So this complex ion was giving a precipitate related to only one Cl minus. So further less quantity of the precipitate was there and electrolyte nature is 1 is to 1. Interestingly, one more similar kind of compound was obtained. Color was different. Formula C, COCl2NH3 plus and Cl minus. Formula is same, but colors were different. Electrolyte proportion 1 is to 1 only. But what exactly chemistry is there? What exactly bonding is there that people at that time were not knowing? Now we know the things. You should understand the electrolyte ratio. You should understand the free Cl minus ions. Therefore, I represented this in tabular form. I am grateful for those websites who have provided me this data. Now see, chain theory came forward in 1869, means in 19th century, in order to explain the bonding in those cobalt amine complex. It was due to Swedish chemist Blomstrand and Danish chemist Jorgensen. Actually, it was originated by Blomstrand and later on extended and wisely applied by Jorgensen. What are their findings? What they wanted to say about those compounds? See here. I have shown you first yellow colored compound where 3 Cl minus ions are there. So what they said, ammonia and cobalt, there remains a linkage. And as like CH2 polymerization or linkage may possible, likewise NH3 NH3 linkage may possible, polymerization may possible, extension may possible. It was their assumption. And if any chloride is attached to NH3, then it is ionizable. It can precipitate with silver nitrate. It was their assumption. So see the first compound. What are you finding? Those 3 Cl minus are attached to NH3. Basically from the valence bond theory or from the valency concept, these concepts are not digestible. But it was their view. What are their views that we are learning? Out of the 6 ammonia, what they did in the chain theory, Two ammonias are individually and four ammonia are together. So first ammonia binded to chloride, then four ammonia are there in linkage, are in a chain, therefore the name is chain theory, linked to the Cl minus, and third separate ammonia linked to Cl minus. So three Cl minus ions are precipitable by silver nitrate. Those three Cl minus are ionizable because they are linked to ammonia. But in case if they link to cobalt, people were knowing cobalt carries the positive charge, chloride carries the negative charge, so linkage between them is possible. If they link, then such a chloride ions are not ionizable. They will not give precipitate. The electrolyte chemistry, electrolyte proportion will change. Now come to the second formula. There, five ammonia molecules are there. Then out of the first NH3Cl, which was considered in the first compound, that NH3 is absent. So due to that, cobalt is directly attaching to Cl minus, and that Cl minus will not come out. But remaining two Cl minus which are attached to NH3, they can form electrolyte. So I can find from the second compound two Cl minus and one cation. So electrolyte ratio will be 1:2. It is because of chain linkage of 4 ammonia and 1 ammonia is separate. So depending upon the number of the species, they wanted to change the numbers. So that was a chain theory. See the third compound. What was our situation? We were getting only one Cl minus out and 4 ammonia were there, and they did wise distribution of those 6 ammonia. 1 ammonia upside, 1 ammonia downside, and remaining 4 ammonias in between in a chain form. So now all ammonias are in the chain form. Only 4 ammonia are there chain form, and those are attached to Cl minus to one end and one end to cobalt plus 3. Because of the one Cl minus attached to the NH3, it could give the 1:1 electrolyte ratio. This was the explanation by the chain theory. I am not going to explain it in detail, but it was their ideas. Because people were not understanding stable cobalt chloride and stable ammonia, how can they react? Ammonia is a neutral. Ammonia carries no charge. Then how can it react with the positively charged metal ion? That was a problem. That was a threat. But in order to explain that, it was a one attempt. Because of these attempts, the Werner got the good idea. Werner found an insight. Because of Werner theory came. So what are the developments later on took place after this that we are going to study. Only here purpose was to explain a historical perspective. As a homework question for you, I told you cobalt chloride reacts with the ammonia to form various complexes. One yellow colored complex was there. That was a cobalt amine complex. And that yellow colored complex has how many free Cl minus ions? In electrolyte add given one ratio, it reacts with silver nitrate to give large amount of precipitate because these many Cl minus ions are free. So what I expect from you, only you have to write how many chlorides are free to combine with silver nitrate or ionizable chloride ions are there in that yellow colored cobalt amine complex. I am waiting for your answer in the comment box.